Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.
Oh, Steve and Larson! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for yourselves and feel the power. Yes. And all you people out there, you're watching Going In Raw with Steve Larson.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We're on the road to 1,500 subs over there. We have achieved 1,000 subs. We've dipped back down underneath, but you know, we're going to get back up to it, and we achieved the goal. So what did we say? It was like the first weekend of February?
Yeah, I think it's the weekend after the Rumble, yeah.
The weekend after the Rumble. Looks like it's going to be on the 7th of February. We're going to be doing the Death Nut Challenge.
You got that right. So,
and this is a great idea. Larson, go ahead and explain the idea you came up with.
So we've been... Essentially, what we're going to do is we're trying to find some means of betting on something, and if you lose, you got to eat a death nut. And we had talked about Simmon matches in WWE 2K19, watching old like We Book Raw or Fun or W Steve W matches, and we forgot what the outcome was, and I thought of an idea. So on Amazon Prime, they have a whole lot of wrestling shows available there, so we'll find one we could do a watch party of on the Twitch. And we'll wager who's going to win that bout. If you lose, you're eating a death nut. And we'll keep going with that until either all 5 nuts are gone or someone taps out.
Now, to ensure that neither of... So, I mean, what if... So if we both choose the right answer, we don't have to eat one. If we both choose the wrong answer, we both have to eat one.
Yeah, that'll prolong, because I'm sure, like, well, the first one, you know, it'll be spicy, but we could, you know, be like, okay, fine. But as they escalate, it's going to get spicier and spicier and spicier. We want to have more time probably between each nut at that juncture.
Because I was going to just throw this out there.
Yeah.
What if? Well, and I'm not saying that we have to do this. I'm just throwing this out there to expedite the proceedings. Because what if we both get a lot of these right?
O-Dog says Super Bowl's on the 7th. So maybe we shouldn't do it on the 7th.
Oh, thank you, O-Dog.
By doing
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Dang MQ here says milk is always best for something super spicy, never water. I say no milk.
Oh, what?
No milk.
Come on, man.
If you read the actual challenge that's on the box, it's no milk, no water. You just have to eat the nuts.
Oh, man. That sucks.
Since we're going to be going, you know, we're going to be streaming here, we're going to be talking, we need some moisture.
Yeah.
Water's cool.
Okay.
Because that kind of spice is fat soluble.
Yeah.
So if you have something milk that's fatty that you could drink, it helps mitigate the spice a bit.
All right.
No milk, just water. That's the only beverage you can drink.
All right. Well, what I was going to suggest was you have all the gold right now anyways. Whoever, like, you get to pick in the first match who you think's going to win, and I get stuck with the other person, and then we switch off. I get to pick next.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. Or, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, if we both, you know, if we both lose, because we're not going to know the outcomes of these matches. And I don't know how I think it's going to be, like, you know, we'll know going into it. So exactly. I don't know, whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll see what works.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, there's that. And then tomorrow, of course, twitch.tv/Steven Larson, we're going to be doing live reactions. It's not going to be a co-stream because it's a pay-per-view, and that would be very illegal. But Fight.tv, I believe, has Impact's Hard to Kill. We're going to be doing our live reactions to that.
Yeah.
No recap afterwards, no taking notes. And to be honest, we'll probably be talking about a lot of other shit during the actual show. But we're going to be watching Impact as well, just to hang out, just to have fun. And we have decided today that it's going to be Big Impact versus Big Gold. Winner takes all. So I know, Larson, I can see you salivating right now because you're on a quest to get all the gold.
And also, we're introducing the Trios title. Enforcer, who's been joining us on our watch-alongs of pay-per-views, he's really the anchor of the whole thing. He's the glue that holds it all together. He's getting in on the predictions. So right there, that WWE tag title is now the Going In Raw Trios title. If you want to see the Enforcer's picks for Hard to Kill, he posted a video on his YouTube. I put up a thing on our Twitter, so you can check it out there. So we're going to crown the very first Going In Raw Trios champ tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm hoping I'm getting that one. I'm getting the Impact title. Then I'll have 5 belts.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. I think EV here in chat doled out the tag title. I think that he's the pro. Well, we're putting it to good use here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get into it. Smackdown, another fun episode, and as we predicted, the week-long Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns Royal Rumble main event. We figured it was not to be, even though I'll be honest with you, I was really enjoying that idea. That'd be kind of fun to see Scrap Daddy stick it to Roman Reigns. He did stick it to him, but in a different way.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it wasn't necessarily the most dramatic way of doing it.
It also didn't help that his microphone was cutting out, but
I know.
Regardless, you're right.
And it made it seem like, there was some back and forth negotiations happening throughout the show where Roman wasn't happy about stipulation of the match, and so the contract was bouncing back and forth. Eventually, though, Heyman gave Adam Pearce the contract, saying the tribal chief wants it to be a last man standing bout. Pearce takes the contract, and there's an agreement. He'll meet Roman in the middle of the ring at the end of the show. He does so. He signs the contract, hands it to Roman. Roman signs it, hands it back to Pearce. Pearce just gets out of there as quickly as possible. He says on the way out, he says, "I've been waiting all night for this." Leaves, and as he's walking up the ramp, his knee gives out.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to the top of the ramp and says, "Hey, it's one of those old injuries, that come up, surprise you. Usually happens at the worst time. As is common in these contracts, cards subject to change. So in the event that I'm not cleared for this match, I need to find a suitable replacement. I have it's Kevin Owens. He comes out, he signs the deal, and then commentary leaps right ahead to, it's Roman and Owens at the Rumble."
Mm-hmm.
But that's not exactly what Pearce said, was it? Pearce said, "If I'm not cleared."
Oh, I think the end. Well, okay, so
it is totally. But there's a formality that has to happen to jump all the way already to.
Yeah, but then didn't he have Owens sign the contract as well?
He did.
So everything you're saying is totally true. I sort of just took that for granted. I took that at face value. Owens is in the match. That's what it is.
But there's like at least 25 to 30% of what Pearce was saying I couldn't hear because his mic was cutting out.
No, I think you got it right. I think his point was, I'm injured. I can't go. I got a knee injury. I think that you're definitely getting there. I don't want to nitpick too much because they got it 60% right.
Yeah.
I do think that Pearce, given that Roman and Heyman this week, last week, and even like on social media throughout the last week, were just so condescending to Pearce, it would have been nice if he would have had, and it's not really Pearce's style traditionally, stick it to him a little more than he did. Like to maybe big dog the big dog and say, my authority comes directly from Vince McMahon and he outweighs all of you put together. I have, a trainer's report that says I'm not allowed to wrestle. I'm, something a bit more authoritative and sticking it to you. I think, like you're saying, a bit more dramatic. That being said, I think that I probably would be quibbling a little bit less if his microphone worked, because that was sort of like, it took me out of it a little bit. But yeah, so that's going to be the match. Last man standing, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. That should be a really cool match. It's going to be, Heyman kept on referring it to the main event. The Royal Rumble match, I don't remember last year, was it the main event of the show? Because oftentimes it's not.
Fairly often it is. I feel like
sometimes it is. I mean, I watched a bunch today, like from the Attitude Era and the early Ruthless Aggression, and a bunch of those were not.
So last year, Drew winning the Rumble was the main event. Otherwise, I thought SmackDown was pretty solid. Nakamura, firmly a face. Cesaro, 100% going to turn on him at some point. It was great hearing Nakamura's old theme. I wish they had done the full old entrance, though, with the audio waves going in the beginning and the darkened Thunderdome, strobe lights, all that. I missed that entrance. It was so dang perfect in NXT. I don't like harping on this, especially after how long we went on talking about MSK's debut on NXT. But remember when Nakamura got brought up to main, they made like 3 little small changes to his entrance, and it felt like it really altered the timing of how it went, of what we're used to it in NXT. They even changed the font they used on his Tron.
They did that for a spell whenever they bring somebody up. They would just change even though they also changed the entire nature of his character. Bob Roode comes out and they glorious.
And he'd always have to do this and have to turn and smile like he was really excited and just said glorious, even though he'd probably seen that 1,000 times at that point because he'd been doing that every night at house shows.
Yeah, it's clear that I like that they didn't short shrift Nakamura and Cesaro. I mean, they're going down a fairly obvious telegraphed path where Cesaro, checking Daniel Bryan, saying, hey, you don't know him as well as I do. And, Cesaro interrupting Nakamura's match for his entrance to come down. So I do hope that they give this split some amount of motivation. I mean, why would all of a sudden Nakamura, I mean, even if it's, hey, that gauntlet match really woke me up. Because they talked about the gauntlet match. Jey Uso talked about the gauntlet match and how people are buzzing about how well he did in it. Even if it's something like that where Nakamura would kind of explain to him, hey, this is why I've had this shift. Because only in wrestling do you get a guy who's like sort of a dick and then all of a sudden, I've just decided to be nice now. At least in the case of Kevin Owens, he has justified it, both on social media and on TV as, hey, it bugged my conscience, basically. I want to see if I could have success and be a good guy. So I hope they motivate it a little bit, but at least they gave it a bit more than just, Cesaro coming up to Nakamura backstage. Hey, why did you do that by yourself? And then they fight, and then that's it.
Well, and also Cesaro, during the course of the discussion of Nakamura's match last week in the gauntlet match, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be in the Rumble. And so that he was asked, well, if you win, who are you going to face? And he's like, oh, I'm going to face Roman Reigns. He takes a beat and goes, because I'm that good of a friend to get back at Roman for what he did to Nakamura. But given that he took that pause, that beat there, Cesaro wants to be Roman because he wants to be champion. Maybe even to show up. Nakamura.
Yeah. He even said that. He said, I want to fight Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, SmackDown was fun. We could just go ahead and hop into it.
Sure.
It started off with Roman in his suite, looking over the contract
with his Jordan 4s.
He was looking over it a bit disconcertingly, though. Paul Heyman gets in his ear. He sort of notices that Roman has a certain vibe to him. He's off-put, and he tries to explain to him. He's like, it's a standard boilerplate contract. I don't like these things. And Roman, he senses that Roman doesn't like it. And he's like, you know what? Maybe it needs a stipulation. It needs a stipulation, like no DQ. Maybe it'll be a no DQ match. He's, let me take that back to Adam Pearce and consider this handled. And Roman doesn't say anything. So after that, Jey Uso comes out to have his match with Shinsuke Nakamura. I love Jey Uso's work these days because he's got such like a rambling desperation. He's always like sweaty, and he doesn't have, they would have a very deliberately paced but still very energetic Uso Penitentiary promos where they came off as almost poetic with a lot of what they would say. This is just the ramblings of a desperate person who hates being under Roman's thumb.
A desperate, fractured person.
A defeated person.
Yes, he's broken, if you will.
So he's like, hey, welcome to the Bloodline show, drops a promo on Pearce, enters himself into the Rumble, says he's going to win it. Then he's going to go on to beat Drew or whomever has the title on Raw.
Oldberg, he said.
Oldberg. He says, before that, though, I got business with Shinsuke Nakamura. He praises his performance, or at least he acknowledges that people are praising his performance in the Gauntlet. And then Shinsuke's music hits. He comes down, says, if your cousin is the big dog, that makes you his little puppy. He starts laughing, and Jey looks pissed, and so Shinsuke just kicks him in the head, and their match kicks off.
Yes, that it does. So, early on, Nakamura has the upper hand. You mentioned this earlier. Cesaro walks out, and he joins the commentary team. And, he's asked, where were you last week when Nakamura got beat up? And Cesaro says, well, Tropicana Field, it's a really large place, right? And Cole's like, yeah. And he says, all right, well, by the time I got out to the ring, everybody had cleared the ring. Commentary, you guys were probably gone. So that's why I wasn't here. But I did come out there to back up my friend. Mm-hmm. And, of course, conversation mentioned he's in the Rumble. He wants to beat Roman, so on and so forth. Towards the end, Jey, he elbows out of an exploder, hits a Samoa drop that gets him a 2, trading the strikes. Jey hits a neck breaker, another 2, goes for corner splash. Nakamura evades that, hits knee out second rope. That gets him a 2. Nakamura sets up for Kinshasa. He ends up running into a super kick. Jey goes up top, goes for a splash. Nakamura gets his knees up. Nakamura charges him. Jey evades. Nakamura hits the post. Jey rolls him up, puts his feet on the rope. Little Nate counts the 3 count. Then as he looks up, Jey's feet are still on the ropes. He waves it off, and Jey's getting in his face, arguing about it. Nakamura comes up from behind Jey, rolls him up, but rolls through right into a Kinshasa to get the win. Afterwards, it was great. Yeah, Cesaro hits the ring, raises Nakamura's hand, gives his buddy a hug.
Mm-hmm. We're all just waiting for, I thought he was going to do something cheesy because Nakamura was hanging on the ropes, so they was going to dump him. They would do that every once in a while, in the lead up to the Rumble. They oh, I just dumped you over the top rope. Look,
at every opportunity you get, you just dump somebody over the top rope just to prove a point.
Exactly. So after that,
we all know the rules of the Rumble.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I know. We don't know. So after that, Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce are backstage chatting about his chances against Roman. Heyman comes over. He brings the contract, puts over how big the opportunity is. Not only is this a match for the Universal title, it's a no DQ match. And Pearce says, you know what, man, enough of this. It doesn't benefit me. It only sees me getting injured. He signs it. Is this the bit where Heyman made that quip about Sonya's perfume?
Mm-hmm.
What was that about? Was that just to throw her off a little bit? That was weird.
I don't know.
Anyways.
I don't know. So after that, Jey's backstage. He's complaining to Little Nate about the 3 count, how he had a 3, and then, his feet were on the ropes, so on and so forth. And then Jey was like, didn't your daughter just get married? You better be careful. You can get fired. Do your job.
Little Nate was like, fire me. You can't fire me.
Fire me. You can't fire me.
I'm already fired. After that, we had a Street Profits interview where they were questioned about the wisdom of putting up their titles so soon after being attacked. Mm-hmm. They just sort of do their thing. They talk about, we're many things, but we're not scared. We were champs 312 days. And when the sequel happens, did I catch this right? Did he make a Blumhouse film reference?
Yeah.
That's a bit obscure, right?
It is. That's actually pretty impressive. It's like, wow, that's a good reference to make.
That's a much better reference than weird quantum physics references.
Yeah, well, I can appreciate both. After that, this was great. So Roman's backstage, and then he's chatting up Apollo Crews.
This made me so excited.
This is exciting.
This made me so happy.
Let's go through it real quick. So Roman's telling Apollo, saying, hey, it's all about control. Heyman enters, hands Roman the contract. Crews is about to leave, and Roman says, no, stay. You might learn something. Mm-hmm. So Heyman tells Roman, hey, I got you a no DQ match. Roman says, I don't want a no DQ match. I never wanted a no DQ match.
Yeah, he said, I never said that.
I want a last man standing match.
Yeah.
And Roman says Pearce is going to go for it because Heyman, you're going to make him. And when you tell him he's going to sign the contract, it's going to be in the ring tonight. And then
he says, I consider it handled now.
Now I forgot the W in my notes. I was confused. Now Roman says, I consider it handled, hands Paul the contract, and then goes back to talking to Cruz.
And he turns to Cruz and he says, see, it's all about control. Man, Apollo joining up with Roman. I think that's terrific. And the stuff we saw with Apollo tonight, I thought was great, even though we had to see Sammy's crusty condos. After that, saw Sammy's butt crack, and I saw Virgil's nutsack today. So I did two things I didn't think I'd see today. Anyways, after that, we had Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Billie Kay coming out looking like a sort of a Wish.com Hot Topic employee, doing her best punk rocker impersonation. I did appreciate commentary. It was funny because I appreciate, Cole having a fun time with it, saying, Corey, you're a bit of a punker, aren't you? How do you feel about that? And he was trying to give Billie Kay the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And what did Cole call her? Billy Vicious? Oh, that was clever.
Yeah,
he was like, oh, look, you got jokes.
She was obviously... We didn't hear Corey Graves use the phrase crust punk.
The crust punk. Yeah.
In reference to Elias in NXT.
Yeah. I talked to many of the crust punks there in Philadelphia.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Anyways, so Natalya dominated a lot of this match until Liv Morgan turned it around. But meanwhile, when Natalya was dominating, Billie, after a really wonderful job on commentary, gets up and she starts, bugging Ruby to get involved. Hey, get involved. Let's get involved. She goes over to Tamina's side to bug the ref about something, and Tamina starts running her off. She's like, hey, what are you doing over here? And she's like, whoa. She backs up. She doesn't really know where to go. Instead of going around the other side of the ring, she tries to escape from her, even though she's really not threatening that much. She gets into the ring and gets in the middle of the two competitors right as Liv Morgan was about to finish off Natalya, because at that point she had basically had the match, almost won. Mm-hmm. And then that distraction allowed Natalya to get the roll up for the win there.
Yeah.
And of course the Riot Squad none too happy.
After that, Rey Mysterio versus King Corbin. So this whole match was seemingly to set up a match between Baron and Dom.
This should be on Dark, dude. This should be on Dark.
Yeah, no. So Baron, for the most part, is dominating Rey during this course of this match, and the whole time. So Dom's on commentary, and Corey Graves especially is just pestering Dom. Shouldn't you go in there and help your dad? That's essentially what he was saying. And Dom's like, no, I know my dad can handle this. He's the giant killer. He's got to fight his own fights. He's got to, fight his own battles. So Rey makes a pretty minor comeback. Eats a deep six at the end of that after he misses a 619. He goes for a baseball slide. Rey does on Baron to the floor. Baron ducks it, hits him with a back elbow, and Dom stands up, and Baron just pops him one. Bang! Cheap shot right to the face. Takes him towards the ring post. Rey hits kind of like a 619 in the apron. So they go back in the ring, and Dom comes to and tries to get involved. He gets in the ring, and Rey physically has to tell him, get out. He's pushes him out. Man. So Baron comes from behind Rey, pushes Rey into Dom. Dom tumbles to the floor, and then Baron hits end of days on Rey to get the win.
You know what commentary should have asked Dom? Why is your dad wearing tights that look like he's got diapers on over his tights? That was the ugliest thing. When you have just because he had sort of army green, I think, or it was like an olive green, an olive green, but then he had just white, in the trunk area.
I thought they were kind of like a cream color, or a very light tan.
Oh, I don't know. On my TV, they were white, and they looked silly as hell.
Yeah,
it's like that time you wore flesh color tights.
Oh yeah,
with the thong.
Remember when Jericho wore the trunks that were half flesh colored?
Yeah,
in WWE.
Anyways,
awfully revealing there, Jericho.
So we're gonna have a mystery about this particular feud here in a second. But first, backstage, Adam Pearce asks Heyman, hey, has Roman signed the contract yet? And Heyman tries to frame it like it makes Pearce look good to management, but he's like, no DQ match. We don't need that. He reveals that Roman wants, the match is last man standing, and Pearce is like, come on, that's ridiculous. And Heyman says, well, look, you look it over. You can express whatever concerns you have to Roman in the ring tonight. So then we go to Ray and Dom. They're talking backstage about this stuff. And
oh, you're right there, Bright White. It's the trim on he has lighter green trim on the mask and his armband. I thought that was kind of a tan color, but no, those are chonies. Those are white.
Looks like he's got tidy whities on over his tights.
Yeah.
So anyways, speaking of them, Ray and his diapers and Dom talking backstage, and Dom's like, oh, you're a giant killer. You know all about this stuff. And he's like, listen, if you really want to fight Corbin, I know who we can talk to. Larson, who are they going to talk to?
It could be Buddy Murphy.
You think it's going to be Buddy Murphy? Didn't he he was humiliated by Baron Corbin.
Well, I mean, that's probably Dom's future. That's probably Dom's future, so you should probably get Buddy's insight, yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, that's good. That's good. Good point. Son, listen, you're an idiot. You're going to lose. Talk to this idiot who also lost.
Who lost several times at the hands of Baron Corbin, yes.
Baron didn't even need the two guys who were overheating. Frickin' Frack, the Cutler and what's-his-face, and Blake, and the NWO Buddy Murphy. I don't know where those guys were. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know either. Oh, no. And this was fun. Ding Dong,
Ding Dong, hello.
With Bianca Belair. There's a special guest. The debut episode of Bayley's first or new talk show. So she comes out. She's got giant glasses. And I was like, what is that a reference to? It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm happy that I think Fightful.
Jesse Raphael.
It was Fightful and our friendos over at Busted Wide Open. They both, I think, made the reference. That was definitely Sally, Jesse Raphael. And I was like, yes, that's what it was, with the huge glasses.
Oh, yeah.
So Bianca comes down from the ramp, gets in the ring, and Bayley's like, no, you have to go behind the door and ring the doorbell. Because you have to do the ding dong. So there's a nice chair set up. And then a stool. So the chair was Bayley's. The stool is for the guest. Because when she was doing the introductions, she was sitting in the nice chair. So Bianca goes to the door, rings the doorbell. Bayley opens the door.
Bianca first Bayley says, I wonder who this could be.
Yeah.
And Bianca pokes her head around and says,
yeah,
Bayley, you know it's me. She said, come on, just do it.
It's great.
The fact that she would indulge Bayley in this ridiculousness was such a charming addition to this feud, because she really shouldn't, but the entire thing is really charming, actually.
It is. And so she just really casually just goes and sits in Bayley's chair before Bayley has a chance to really notice. And Bayley goes, that's my chair.
So it's really comfortable, though.
It's really comfortable. She puts over the chair. So Bayley says, anyways, I'm going to stand because I'm going to be in the Rumble. I'll probably be in for like 60 minutes. And so she congratulates Bianca on her WWE Chronicle. And she says, after people see it, there'll be a lot of Bianca believers, but hey, I have a sneak peek of it. Let's take a look. She throws the video of her beating Bianca about a month ago. And Bayley's like, okay, I'm sorry about that. Let's go to some hard-hitting questions. Why are you the EST of WWE? And Bianca says, well, it's a nickname. I've had it, for a number of years since my track days. And Bayley's like, so what you're saying is that it's based on everything you did before being here. That's kind of disrespectful to those of us who have been here and accomplished a lot of great things. And Bianca's like, no, I don't mean anything by it. She's just confident she's the best. And Bayley goes, no, I should be the best because I beat you. And Bianca's like, well, you want to go back and get your dusty gear?
Dusty gear, yeah.
And we can throw it down right now. And Bayley's like, oh, I think I know a way we can find out who's the better athlete. How about an obstacle course next week?
Now, if this was like anybody else, I'd be like, I mean, the Prophets and the Viking Raiders did something like that, and it was actually fairly entertaining after the first couple bits, and it escalated, got funnier and funnier. I'm looking forward to this. I think this should be good. Like the stuff that Bayley had been doing on social media for a spell, set to Bianca's music, was pretty damn funny. This should be some good stuff.
Yeah. So Bianca says, yeah, we could do that. And she says, Bayley, you got some EST in you too, but I'm still going to beat you.
Yeah. So yeah, the obstacle course, we're going to get that next week, I think is what they said later on. So after that, we had backstage, we had Daniel, Bryan, Otis, and Gable. They're all doing their hip thrust training. And Daniel Bryan has a big goofy smile on his face.
The whole time, man.
The entire time. So then he has an interview. And he's like, you know what, man? If training in the Alpha Academy makes me even a small, tiny bit better, I'm happy to do it. He says he has respect for Shinsuke Nakamura. He's a former Royal Rumble winner, and he's sure Shinsuke feels the same about him. He's got respect for him. Cesaro comes in and interrupts, says, you know what, man? You don't know Shinsuke. He's my best friend. He only probably shook your hand because he felt sorry for you. He sort of mocks the whole Alpha Academy training thing. And then Bryan's like, all right, well, we'll see. How about we have a match? Well, that had actually taken place earlier in the night because match happens now.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro.
So Daniel Bryan's going after Cesaro's arm. After Daniel Bryan inadvertently kicked the ring post, Cesaro starts kind of attacking his leg. So at one point, commentary is like, wow, Daniel Bryan can't feel his arm. Cesaro can't feel his arm. Well, I don't think Daniel Bryan could feel his leg. Mm-hmm. But it was relatively hard hitting. Cesaro Cesaro and Daniel Bryan trade European uppercuts and such. Daniel Bryan tried for a yes lock a couple times. Towards the end, Daniel Bryan goes for a Frankensteiner. Cesaro catches him, hits this great like twisting suplex off the second rope.
Dude, the strength that would take, he just muscled him up.
It was pretty damn impressive.
That was very impressive.
So in the finish sub, Bryan set up for a D+. Cesaro countered with a pop-up uppercut, follows that with a neutralizer to get the win.
Daniel Bryan
putting everybody over now.
He's putting the right people over. Like he's like single-handedly. What have we always said about Cesaro all these years? Like, he should be a bigger star than he is.
Yeah.
And they treat him decently enough, but he's kind of a utility guy. But he's like the most creative wrestler they have.
He's a tag team specialist, pretty much. Is what he is structured his career.
And Daniel Bryan's out there, getting guys like Nakamura over, getting guys like, being out there in front of the Big E push. It looks at this point like, I don't know who's involved with it, but if Apollo Crews is there with Roman Reigns, it might mean that Paul Heyman likes Apollo Crews. Mm-hmm. Man, it's like on SmackDown, the right people are really getting the rub, I mean, I hate to say it about Baron Corbin, but he's a guy who's probably going to be around for a while. To have a win over Rey Mysterio tonight, I kind of feel like they need to polish up Baron Corbin a little bit because he's got a lot to offer. It's just he's stuck in this King thing.
He needs to lose the King thing.
He does. He totally does.
They need to have another King of the Ring tournament just for no other reason, so we can stop having to hear about King Corbin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know what the deal with that is. I mean, the guy who really wants to win King of the Ring, Xavier Woods. I get the feeling that if he had won King of the Ring last time, he would have found a way out of it by now, because the New Day have always been great at continually keeping their stuff fresh. Mm-hmm. And it's like with Corbin, it's just the same old thing, and it's getting him nowhere. And I'm kind of surprised just because he seems like the kind of guy, like from the stuff we've heard about him, who doesn't have a problem speaking up backstage.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the kind of thing where he doesn't have a solution to it, or maybe he likes it. Maybe he just thinks, hey, this is my thing, and I'm going to try to run with it as much as I can. I don't know the creative process back there.
I don't know either.
But it doesn't work, and it's just keeping him down. Mm-hmm. But, for these other guys that, really need to be getting these wins, like, I mean, I came into this thinking, if Cesaro wins tonight, he's totally going to be cheating. Otherwise, there's no way he's going to get a clean win over Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And here we go. Daniel Bryan puts him over. He knows he's got the credibility. If somebody beats him, that's a big deal.
Yeah. After that, we had a Carmella interview. She said, I told the truth about Sasha when it comes to talent. Sasha can't touch her. Said she hasn't seen Sasha since she pinned her, maybe because she proved that she's better. And then Sasha runs in, shoves the hell out of Carmella. Mm-hmm. Reginald, the sommelier, steps between Sasha and Carmella. And Sasha says, Carmella, you can have your title match. I want a match with him first.
The sommelier. You know what this kind of needs, man? They shouldn't have got this. What's his name? Reginald. They should have got what's the dude in NXT? Robbie E. What's his name?
Robert
Stone brand. a guy who actually talks, a guy who says stuff, a guy who, I mean, they literally did that angle before with Shotzi.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this guy is just sort of there. He doesn't say anything. And Sasha's like, I want to match with this guy. I like it. I think it's a cool idea and everything. But, like, I feel like her sommelier should be a bit more, I don't know, of a person and not
assertive.
A guy who just stands there and doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't really know. I mean, I know what a sommelier is. I just know what he doesn't really do anything. Besides, I know he helps Carmella sometimes. But
I mean, if we weren't living in the midst of a pandemic, it'd be great if they went to, like, a wine shop and they do a little quick vignette of him and going and getting some selections for her and then presenting, and doing
explaining them. Yeah.
Yes, that would be great. But
dude, what you think they can't? They could set something up backstage.
Oh, I'm sure they could. Yeah.
They've done it before. They made it look like restaurants before. They could totally do stuff like that. But there's no personality to this guy. So, like, why do I care if that should have been like whoa. I mean, I didn't see it coming. I didn't think Sasha Banks was going to challenge him to a match because he's just sort of.
Well, WWE doesn't do intergender wrestling.
Well, there's that too. There is that too. But also, like, he just hasn't been, like you say, assertive enough personality-wise for me to, like, think this was going to happen.
I mean, he's interfered in matches a couple times. One time he got on the apron and then did, like, a backflip off.
Mm-hmm. Like when Robert Stone had that match, because he had he had a singles match against Shotzi, didn't he? Or was it just the handicap thing? Him and Aaliyah. I forget what it was. But it was like,
for the handicap one.
It was like, okay, wow, he's got this coming. This guy is just talk. He's got this coming. It would have been cool if this had the same sort of feel to it.
Yeah. Next, Apollo Crews versus Sami Zayn. So Big E is sitting ringside in a love seat. He's got a Ghostbusters button-up sweater on.
That's right, I was in Ghostbusters.
He's got a fruit cup.
Yeah.
It's like some berries, some strawberries and blueberries he's munching on.
Yeah.
And one of Cole's first questions to him was, hey, how do you feel about Sammy's conspiracy? Do you think there's any credence? And Big E says, I don't think it's a good time to talk about conspiracies right now. Let's move on to the next question.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that today.
He is the absolute best.
It's hilarious. He's so comfortable. And there's it's great. And then later on, when Sami was on the outside beating up on Apollo, and he said, watch this, brother. And he said, you don't get to call me brother.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to call me brother.
That's so good.
Oh, that was good stuff.
So while they're outside, Crews slams Sammy's head on the announce table and then hits a moonsault off announce table, puts Sami back in the ring, goes up top. Sami knocks him off the top rope, hits an elbow off the second rope, gets a 2, goes for another one. Crews catches him, hits a huge German suplex, catches a boot from Sami, and then press slams on the top turnbuckle, goes for a standing moonsault. Sami gets his knees up. That gets Sami a 2 count. He rolls up Crews with a handful of tights. The ref sees it. Sami is arguing with her. Crews charges Sami. He turns around, exploder suplex into the corner, sets up for a haluva kick. Crews rolls him up off that with a handful of tights. Ref doesn't see it. He gets the win.
Yeah. And Apollo is just mocking Sami afterwards.
Saying, and what did Big E say? He was a knuckle deep, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. That's what he said. Apollo, Big E was cracking up. He was a knuckle deep. And then so Apollo comes. So Sami's yelling at the ref. Apollo comes over and he picks up Big E's title. Big E stands up and he's like, "That ain't yours. That ain't yours. Don't touch that." So Apollo throws it back to him. He's like, "I'm coming for that." He's like, "Hey, you can come all day long. You can come all day long. You're not getting this. You're not getting your hands on this." So it was just jaw-jacking back and forth.
Great.
It was really, really good stuff.
So next week, 2 segments announced. They made the match during commercial break, Big E versus Apollo Crews, and then Bianca Belair and Bayley in an obstacle course.
Yeah. So there you go.
And that takes us to the main event segment, contract signing. So Roman, Heyman, Jey come out first, Pearce second. So this bit was great. So
it was Rhea. It was Rhea, not Shotzi.
Yes, that's right. So
Shotzi just ran him over with a tank.
Yeah.
Rhea stuffed him in the garbage cans. And dumpsters and stuff.
So Roman, Jey, and Paul are all standing in the ring. Pearce comes in, just takes a seat. He's the first one to take a seat.
Yeah.
And then so Heyman gets the chair. It's like, I know you want to sit at the head of the table, so he takes the other chair and starts moving there. And Roman goes, no, I want his chair.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Heyman tries to plead with Pearce to get out, and Jey pretty much comes from behind and says, "Get out of the chair," and pretty much chucks Pearce out of it.
It was pretty funny, actually.
It was pretty great.
Pearce, get your ass out of that chair.
Yeah. So they move the chair to the head of the table. Roman sits. Pearce takes the other chair. Roman tells Pearce to sign the contract. He does. Pass it to Roman. Paul hands Roman a pen. Roman signs it. Got a really smug smile on his face. Pearce gets the contract, closes it, grabs the mic, says, "I've been waiting all night for this." Gets up, leaves.
Roman's so confused at this point because he it's funny because Pearce signs it and he sort of shoves it at Roman, and Paul laughs. They're all snickering at him, and Paul laughs and said, "You're so passive aggressive." Mm-hmm. So then when Roman signs, he says, "I've been waiting all night for you to do that." And he starts to leave. Roman just looks confused, and as Pearce is walking up, he starts limping, and Roman sort of looks and he's like, "What the?" So he starts limping, and he's like, and he says, "Roman, my knee's been bugging me all day long. You know what I mean? It's one of those injuries that just creeps up on you at the worst possible time. Don't worry, though. As you all know, standard WWE contracts, they all say the same thing: card subject to change. And as a WWE official, I can find a suitable replacement if I can't wrestle. And in fact, a suitable replacement is just what I have in mind." Enter Kevin Owens. His music hits. He comes down, signs the thing, and Roman just looks defeated, steamed, what have you.
He's been had.
He's been had.
He's been had. All right, you want to answer some questions? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
EV gifted a sub to favorite customer. Thank you so much, EV.
Thank you, EV. Let's see here. That's dope. You guys got to wait on the Patreon for the episode to what could be the story if we got the story. I think some of these questions they post during the episode. But then you find out the answer to them
during the recap, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Biatch be tripping for the sub. Thank you very much. J Mart tripping with some bits. Thank you.
Thank you, Shop J Mart.
Flat says Cesaro's first singles win in 6 months, not versus a member of Lucha House Party.
I am actually surprised. I am actually really surprised it's not more than that.
I know.
I'm actually shocked that it wasn't like a ridiculous stat, like 18 months or something like that.
I know.
He seems like he's been in the doghouse. When I say the doghouse, I mean obviously in a tag team. but yeah, it seems like he's been in the singles doghouse for longer than that.
It does seem like that, yeah.
Alex Foster, considering the potential consequences, would you guys try to outsmart Roman Reigns? If I was in Pearce's position, yeah. Because
Pearce isn't a competitor.
Right.
The whole ploy of Roman was to get Pearce in the ring so he could beat the hell out of him without repercussion.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Now he can't do that.
Right. And so
I
mean, that's the thing about Pearce.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, all right, you want to play this game, that's fine. I know that I'm not going to let it happen because I have the authority to make sure it doesn't happen. I just have to make sure that I'm on terra firma when I do that. And it really wasn't that difficult of a ploy to get Roman Reigns. It's not like they're playing 4D chess here.
Yeah. Jorge D. Steven Larson, if you were wrongfully put in an insane asylum, how would you convince them that you're actually sane and not just pretending to be sane?
This feels like an Ask Steven Larson question, but I love it. I think it's a great one. Well, that's okay. So that journalists have done that. I'm trying to remember, what did I just see? What did I just watch? Man, it was something where journalists would go in. There was actually a study done by a newspaper or something.
Yeah.
And it was nearly impossible. 70% of the time they weren't able to convince doctors that they were sane. Doctors just had, and this is going back decades. This is going back decades. It's not like a recent thing. But yeah, God dang, I wish I remember the story. But how would I try to convince them? I would probably just I would probably ask them, like, hey, what's the litmus test? What is the test here? What's the criteria for me to prove to you that I'm sane?
But then they'd probably think that, okay, if you give the answer, you're going to try to game the system. So
that's the catch.
Try to prove. Yeah,
that's the premise. That's catch-22 right there. That's the actual catch-22 from the book. Is anybody who says you have to be insane to be discharged or be sent home, but anybody who says they're insane is clearly sane because they're trying to go home.
Yeah.
So there's no way that you can go home.
Yeah. This is what I would try. I would be honest because I used to have a problem with OCD. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still there. Like, I'd be very honest with, like, okay, I know this is, I'm a really anxious individual. I got a little bit of OCD going on, but that doesn't qualify me for being insane. Like, if I'm really honest and forthcoming about my own mental health,
yeah,
and present myself like, hey, you want to keep me here a couple days? Fine, we can work through it. But at that juncture, after we work on that, you'll see clear as day that's the extent of my of what's going on.
You sound like an insane person trying to convince me that you're sane. That's literally what you sound like now.
No, but here's the thing: is that's not how I'd present it to them. I wouldn't say it and like, this is my ploy. I'd be like, okay, you think I'm insane? All right, let's talk about it. This is what I know is going on.
You sound insane right now.
No.
No matter what you do, you sound like an insane person trying to convince somebody that you are sane. So I think you probably have to like not try to convince anybody of anything. You just have to be in there and act like a normal person, and hopefully they'll observe you. Make some small talk.
Or if you just go in there and act like a normal person, they'll just kind of blend amongst the other patients there and no one will like notice you. There's that danger.
Yeah, you have to very subtly be noticed.
Yeah. Night by night, if you owned a company that exclusively sold encyclopedias, that's going to be a rough business these days. What SmackDown superstar would you hire to sell them door to door?
Nobody's going to say no to Big E.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say no to Big E.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. If it's a situation where I agree with you, if it's a situation where ring at the door, they open the door, oh my gosh, it's Daniel Bryan selling me encyclopedias. Like, do we benefit from these wrestlers' star power in relation to how? No, okay,
they're not famous. They're not famous.
Okay. I still think Daniel Bryan's a pretty good answer.
Daniel Bryan seems to me like, and this is not a slight or anything. He seems like, who usually goes door to door? The Mormons and Jehovah's Witness. I would probably close my door on Daniel Bryan.
Really?
Yeah. But Big E is instantly entertaining. You open the door, oh, don't you dare be sour. I'd be like, okay. Colin Branch. Oh yeah, you know who I'd choose? I'd choose Zach Gibson.
Oh gosh.
I don't think anybody closed the door on Zach Gibson.
I don't know, man.
You could be soon the most intelligent person on your block. Or you can be an absolute dweeb.
If I open the door and someone like starts like whisper yelling at me, this is annoying. Close the door. Like, why are you talking to me like this? Talk to me like a normal person.
Do you want to be the smartest person?
All right. Close the door in your face.
Soon I'll be next door at your neighbor.
That's fine. Stop whisper yelling at me, sir.
Colin Branch, my girlfriend gave me a Progress shirt for my birthday today because it's the promotion that I showed her to get her into wrestling. Walter is her favorite. Tonight I'm going to watch Walter versus a kid. NXT UK is my favorite thing right now, dude. Walter beats the shit. You see the gifts from that match?
Yeah,
beats the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, that clothesline looks rough.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Walter.
And he always has to do that little slap on the back too. Then he loads up and cranks him. His question is, what is one of the best wrestling shirts / memorabilia you've received as a gift? Man, whenever anybody gives us these titles to put on the line.
Yeah, it's great. I love collecting belts. I got 3 of them back there.
Because it'll be official when I win these. It'll be official when I win these and big gold.
Oh, I'm looking forward to getting 2 more belts.
This might end up at the Enforcer's house down there.
Entirely possible.
Where do you live?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Broken Wheelchair says, being in a chair, I've never taken steps without braces and a walker, so I've never walked as an able-bodied person would. How does a worked Claymore or Sami's kick work without either the wrestler giving it, falling on his ass, or breaking the other guy's face on impact? Hard to make real than a punch. The Claymore, I think, is just a situation where you're taking it, and you just have to have the timing of when foot's coming towards you. You got to start your bump right then and there.
And Drew does technically fall on his ass when he does that.
He does. He totally does. Yeah. The Haluva kick,
it's a bit different.
It is. I think it's more of like a face wash thing, where that thing is supposed to come across your face as you turn, so it looks like it might brush your face some. But that's got it. Yeah, I think it's just a timing thing. That's part of being a wrestler is you got to know. I mean, there's going to be impact, and it probably doesn't feel great, but it's not the same as actually being kicked in the head.
Yeah.
Ryan Rubik's Cube, will the competition between Bayley and Bianca be a pre-taped on location thing like the Prophets and Vikings, or will there be an obstacle course set up around the Arena Thunderdome?
Well, they did that in NXT when in the early days they had those stupid obstacle courses. No, I hope it's going to be a pre-taped thing. There's some good opportunities for comedy there.
Whoa. So Dangam Q says WWE has announced Asuka versus Alexa Bliss for Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Which will no doubt either change or be scrapped Monday evening. I'm just happy that Asuka's actually going to be on TV. Seems like it's been forever.
Same. Let's see here. Rich says, so Shinsuke came out to his old face music. Face turn confirmed. Yep, seems like it. Jamie Jaime Fonseca says, since SmackDown lacks tag teams, make the best mismatched team to take on this mismatched team. Bring Thatcher up. Have him team with Cesaro, the tag team expert.
Okay. Sami Zayn. And
where's Gulak?
Roman Reigns.
Is Gulak on SmackDown? Gulak's on SmackDown, right?
No, he's on Raw. He just faced AJ on Raw.
Oh, that's right. Who'd you say?
Sami and Roman Reigns. That's a mismatched tag team right there.
Yeah, that's like complete polar opposites.
That's the idea.
That's good.
Rocco says, should every show start with thank you, Roman? Yeah.
Clearly. Moses opposes, is Ding Dong Hello the worst talk show name in wrestling world? No, it's the best. It's the best.
Really good.
Ding Dong Hello.
TV. Shane's birthday tweet in kayfabe. Why would Scrap Iron give away Owens being his replacement, not just wait till the Rumble to do it to play mind games with Roman? Yeah, there's that too.
He's a busy person. Oh, I get that. He's got the Royal Rumble coming up. It's a big deal. He has to plan. He's got paperwork.
Oh, if he really wants to stick it to Roman, you wait till that match is about to happen. You wait till the bell's about to ring.
You come out on like fake crutches.
You walk out to the ring in your wrestling gear. Your knee gives out, and then you just grab the mic and go, so as you know, the card subject changed. Thankfully, I have found a suitable replacement for you. He kind of smiles. Kevin Owens walks out. Drama, Steve.
Oh, like he's got too many important tasks. It's not believable when you got a WWE official dicking around like that.
Oh, it's totally believable. He wants to stick it to Roman Reigns.
This is good. Gregory Faella. What should Apollo change his name to after joining Roman Reigns?
Should. Apollo Crews is a great name.
Well, okay, I get that, but the premise of the question is he has to change
Apollo
his name.
Crews.
Yeah, the NASCAR guy. Apollo. Yeah. Roman's like, Apollo, come here. Do you like NASCAR? What? Racing, car racing. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not really into it, but it's a piece of Americana, I guess. I love NASCAR. Your name is Apollo Crews. Yeah, it's Apollo Crews. No. Listen.
Crews.
Say it with me. Crews. Cruise.
Cruise.
Here's your NASCAR jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And it's got
sleeves off for
got the Heyman Hustle advertising brand.
There you go. Yeah. I'm just trying to do something. So Pearce pulling the old bait and switch will lead to Sonya taking over his position. You think Adam Pearce is going to get trouble for actions unbecoming a WWE official here?
I mean, there's only one person who could do that. I wanted to see you on TV. Match. I wanted to see Scrap Daddy Pitbull.
Oh, wow. Hamish has a good question. Says, so NXT is hard metal and Steve's favorite. I mean, that's what NXT has branded themselves out as, like the metal brand of WWE.
Speaking of which, by the way, not to cut you up, but Liam Wagner, the package has arrived. I will be unveiling it. He requested that I unveil it during the Royal Rumble, but if he wants it sooner than that, I can do that.
Okay. So, and then Hamish says, SmackDown is rock and great sports. What is Raw?
Oh, what's the worst? What's long? I mean, I'd look, man. I'd be fine pretending like I'm some sort of goddamn sophisticate and hey, I listen to classical music. Classical music, sometimes, if you want to calm down, if you want to mellow out, maybe like read or something, or even draw, classical music has its place. But like, just to listen to it, it doesn't entertain me, you know. So I'm gonna say Raw is like, unless you have a better idea.
I mean, here's the thing I thought for Raw. Excuse me. It's. I think they want Raw to be top 40. They want something that appeals to the widest possible demographic, and like pop or top 40 music, there's a lot that's pretty meh.
Oh yeah, sure.
There's some that's really good, and there's some that's really bad.
What is it out here? Like 102.5? Is that the thing? Or
106.5 now.
106.5? Is that what it is? Yeah. That's apropos. I feel bad for talking shit about classical music. I like classical music. What's the wrestling equivalent to classical music, Larson?
Pro wrestling equivalent?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's something that's very stately?
I would say New Japan, but they had that goofy dude doing their intros. The like Don King looking guy.
Yeah.
So it's not New Japan.
To think about that.
It's probably like 2002 to 2005 Ring of Honor.
Yeah, maybe.
That's classical music right there.
That could be. This could be.
Old school NWA is that's like Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
Leonard Skinner.
Die Hard Homer is always such and such. Sorry, it's always such and such wrestler would be a good actor. What actor, actress would be a good wrestler?
Gal Gadot, I guess. I don't know.
Is it Gadot or Godot?
I saw her on a Netflix thing advertisement, and she said Gadot. I always thought it was Godot, but then she said it, too. And so I was like, "Oh, okay,
that must be what it is then." I'll say Mando.
Oh, that's
Pedro
good.
Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, or whoever's under that hood during all the bits that he's not there.
Yeah. Let's see. Anthony gifted a sub to Palm Tree. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony.
Dan Daniels III says, Steve, can I get Zach Gibson asking Undertaker for advice at the Performance Center?
Undertaker, I've got a question for you so that I can soon be NXT's number one.
All right. You're high because I'm dope. Larson, if you win all the gold...
I thought we were going to do a role play thing where you'd say, yeah, what's your question?
Oh, I thought you were doing both of them. I wasn't even paying attention. I was checking out. You're high because I'm dope. Larson, if you win all the gold, we get a commemorative pair of shoes. That's not a bad idea.
Moses supposes, am I crazy or is Otis starting to look like debut Rusev? His figure and his muscularity. I have not really kept tabs on Otis's body lately because he hasn't really been in the ring all that much, but there was a period of time when he was shedding some pounds.
Bath and Body Works additional punishment option if someone has 0 titles due to losing them all. They have to wear the Slapnut shirt until they get it back during all pay-per-views they watch as an unchampion. Do you still have your Slapnut shirt?
I don't know where it is. I haven't seen it in forever.
I think I still have mine, just in case.
Probably not going to wear the same shirt all the time just for not knowing predictions. That's not going to happen. But keep coming up with ideas. Let's see here. All right. Well, we'll answer the other questions we have here on the Twitch. But for now, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hopefully you'll join us for our Impact Hard to Kill watch along tomorrow. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.